Do you still remember the afternoons when you gathered around the TV, anxiously watching each case in the famous crime series Matlock? And surely, the image of the smart, agile black investigator Tyler Hudson, the right-hand man of lawyer Matlock, is still imprinted in many people's minds, right? I still remember the feeling of excitement when watching Tyler Hudson solve cases, a character that brings a breath of fresh air. But behind that bright smile and confidence on the screen is a stormy life, a secret that perhaps not many of us know. The actor who played Tyler Hudson, actor Kene Holliday, or as we often know him as Kene Holliday, once stood at the pinnacle of glory, but then he himself pushed himself into the abyss. And today, we will explore together the extraordinary story of this man, a story of talent, mistakes, and most importantly, incredible resilience. Dear friends, there is a truth that may surprise, even shock many of us who loved the series Matlock. That is, Kene Holliday, who played Tyler Hudson, was fired from this show after 3 seasons. Yes, you heard that right, fired. Imagine, an actor at the peak of his career, a role loved by audiences all over America, suddenly disappeared from the screen. What happened? Why did a talent like Kene Holliday have to face such a cruel decision? That is a big question, a secret that has been hidden quite well behind the flashy stage lights. And the reason behind it, my friends, is a dark war that many talented but ill-fated artists have not been able to win. Addiction. This is not a rumor, but a bitter truth in Kene Holliday's life. It was the ghost of drugs and alcohol that robbed him not only of his lifelong role in Matlock, but also of his career, reputation, and even his life. But before we delve into those dark years, let's take a look back at the starting point of this talented man, Kene Holliday, born in 1949 in Long Island, New York. From a young age, the boy Kene showed a natural talent for sports. A young man full of vitality, with a bright future in the field of sports, to the point of winning a prestigious full scholarship to the University of Maryland. A path that seemed to have been paved with red carpet. But life always has unexpected turns. Fate pulled Kene Holliday away from the stadium and brought him into the spotlight. A historic turning point, when he became the first black person to play a leading role on a university stage. It was not just a role, it was a statement, a pioneering mark in the context of American society at that time, which still had many racial barriers. A burning passion for art guided Kene Holliday. He did not stop at the university stage. He became one of the founding members of the D.C. Black Theater Repertory Company. This was an important milestone, affirming his position and talent in the art community. And then, the television door opened wide to welcome Kene Holliday. The 70s and 80s were his golden age. Audiences, especially the early 7X and 8X generations, will probably remember him through the role of Sergeant Curtis Baker in the comedy series Carter Country. Then there are the impressive roles in The Jeffersons, a classic sitcom about an African-American family rising from poverty. Or the role in Soap, a unique sitcom series. And of course, we cannot fail to mention the role of Tyler Hudson in Matlock, 1986 to 1989. The clever, loyal investigator, always standing by the lawyer Ben Matlock, played by the legendary Andy Griffith. The perfect combination between them has created one of the most beloved crime-solving couples on the small screen. Tyler Hudson is not just a character. He is a symbol of intelligence, agility, and a very unique charm. I believe that many gentlemen here have wished to have a partner like Tyler, and many ladies also secretly admire his elegance. He is so talented, so loved. His career path seems to be full of roses, but life is not always a melodious song. Sometimes the low notes suddenly appear, dragging people into a spiral with no way out. Behind the stage's halo, behind the roles that millions of people love, Kene Holliday faced a fierce and persistent battle, more fierce and persistent than any case Tyler Hudson had ever solved. It was a battle with himself, a battle against the temptation of drugs and alcohol, Addiction, ladies and gentlemen, was like a ghost, creeping into Kene's life without him knowing. It gnawed at his talent, ruined his career, and pushed him to the brink of collapse. The achievements G initially, the pressure of fame, or perhaps the nameless void in his soul, all of these factors may have been factors that pushed him down this wrong path. And then, what had to happen, happened. The climax of the tragedy was his dismissal from Matlock after the third season. This decision was not only a huge shock to fans, but also a fatal blow to Kene Holliday's career and self-esteem. Try to put yourself in his shoes. From a rising, sought-after star, suddenly lost everything. The role that made his name was replaced by someone else. That was a cruel truth. But Matlock was not the only time Kene Holliday stumbled. The battle with addiction was a vicious cycle. He tried to quit many times, then relapsed. His career kept going up and down. There were times when Kene Holliday almost disappeared from the entertainment industry. From a promising actor, he became a name associated with troubles and scandals. People often say that artists are sensitive souls. Perhaps it was that sensitivity that made Kene Holliday vulnerable, easily finding negative ways to escape. But it was also that sensitivity, when placed in the right place, that could become an extraordinary source of strength. What is worth mentioning here is not how Kene Holliday fell, but how he got up after those falls. This is the most admirable part of his life story. After many years in the dark, after times when he thought he could not get up, Kene Holliday found a ray of light. It was not a miracle, but a process of arduous internal struggle. He decided to face the demon of addiction once and for all. He found his faith again. For many people, faith is a strong spiritual support, helping them overcome the most difficult times, and for Kene, that is no exception. Another important factor in Kene Holliday's journey of recovery is love. He married for the third time to Linda Coupling, a partner who is understanding, tolerant, and willing to accompany him on the path to finding himself again. And what few people know is that after overcoming the most difficult period, Kene Holliday devoted all his time to taking care of his elderly mother, a filial son, a return to core family values. This shows a profound change in him, a maturity and peace after the storms. He no longer chases after the frivolous halo, but finds joy and meaning in simple things. Kene Holliday's return to art is also very special. Not the blockbuster roles, not the famous TV series like before. The recognition of Kene Holliday's acting talent is still intact, but more importantly, it is a testament to his miraculous revival. It affirms that, despite having stumbled, despite having lost his way, if one has enough strength and determination, one can completely rebuild one's life and reap success. By the time this story was widely shared, Kene Holliday had been completely sober for 19 years, no longer dependent on drugs or alcohol. Kene Holliday's story is a story of human resilience. From a talented athlete, a star of stage and television, he fell into the abyss of addiction, losing his career and reputation. But he did not give up. He fought, found himself, found faith, love, and rebuilt his life from at our age. Don't forget to click like if you find this story meaningful, subscribe to our channel so you don't miss other interesting stories, and share this video to your friends, relatives, who may also need a little inspiration from examples of overcoming difficulties like Kene Holliday. Thank you for listening.